Referendum left us quite divided socially, regionally, age-wise. How would your party ensure that our eventual agreements with the remaining EU benefit all our people and leave us still open and outward-looking as a nation? I'm going to ask Ruth George first to respond to this. Now, your manifesto says we will scrap the Conservatives' Brexit white paper and replace it with fresh negotiating priorities that have a strong emphasis on retaining the benefits of the single market. Does that include free movement?
No, it doesn't include complete free movement, no. Do you want me to continue, continue the question? I didn't know if you had any more to throw at me. I campaigned with most people in the Labour Party to remain in the EU, but I absolutely respect the referendum result. It was a very hard-fought referendum campaign with a lot of bitterness there, and I absolutely agree with the premise of the question that it left us quite divided. But we must now look to move forward from that and focus on negotiating the best possible settlement for the UK that implements the decision that our people made, whilst at the same time remaining open and outward looking towards Europe. Our vision in Labour is to put the national interest first, and that's about protecting jobs and our economy. So we will scrap the Brexit white paper and replace it with priorities that minimise tariff and non-tariff barriers to boost exports, investment and decent jobs. We believe in fair rules and reasonable management of migration. We won't close our borders, and at the same time, we won't make false promises about migration either. We will guarantee existing rights for all EU nationals living in Britain and secure reciprocal rights for our people in EU countries. Our borders will be controlled by visas for work, students and tourists. And where employers need to recruit workers from abroad, we'll close the loopholes to make sure that they don't go undercutting workers here at home, as I so often see in my role as a trade union official. I believe the best possible outcome in the Brexit negotiations will be achieved by a collaborative approach, working with other European partners, as Labour have been doing, not simply preaching what we want and putting other countries' backs up, nor about putting a final deal to a referendum, but campaigning to remain in the EU, which the Lib Dems have said they will do, because I think that will make people very worried whether you're actually negotiating for the best possible outcome that we all know that we want, if what you then want is for people to vote against that outcome for us to remain in the EU. So we're going for a parliamentary proper scrutiny and debate on that deal to make sure it's the best deal for everyone.
Okay, Andrew Bingham, the Conservative manifesto says, as we leave the European Union, we will no longer be members of the single market or customs union. So that's definitely a hard Brexit then, that we're heading forward. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think hard Brexit, soft Brexit, I think it oversimplifies it, to be truthful. And for what it's worth, the whole referendum campaign, my position, as you probably are aware, I voted to leave the European Union. However, and I know that's not popular amongst some. I mean, this constituency was divided slightly in favour of Brexit, and I took the view that it was a referendum, and I think we're probably going to talk about referendums later on, but it was a referendum where people made up their own mind. Now, I would respect anybody to campaign on whichever side of an argument they believe. I took the view, I put a link on my website to a Foreign Affairs Select Committee report, which was compiled by a group of MPs, both Remainers and Brexiters, which I thought was a balanced report, and I really wanted people to make their own mind up. Now, as a politician, my view is now the referendum result stands, and it is up to us now to negotiate the best possible deal, and the best possible deal for all our citizens. And
yeah, but how are you going to do
I
it?
regret the tone of the campaign on both sides. Both sides are guilty of saying things they shouldn't.
No, just
and
carry
I
on
think it did polarise opinion, and I've been surprised at the reaction I've had from people on both sides of the argument post June the 23rd. But yes, we will come out of the customs union, the free market, the freedom of movement, and I think that's the part of the policy, as Ruth just said, of both our two parties. But we need to do the best deal we can for all our citizens, and that's, as I said in my opening wish, that
That's not answering
whether
the
we
question,
like
is
it
it?
or not, Brexit will overarch many things over the next 5 years of this Parliament, particularly the next 2, and I, for one, want to get the best deal for all our citizens, and consequently, what I have done since the 23rd of June, I've been to see various organisations, various companies, various sectors of industry, because I need to know what the good bits and what the bad bits are, the bits that we need to keep, the bits that we need to throw away. And I'll give you a very quick example. If you look at food standards, now I met with some farmers and they talked to me about food standards, and if we were to jettison the EU food standards, that would hamper our farmers because it would allow, and I don't use the word substandard because that's probably too strong, but food of a lower standard than what we're used to.
If you could be drawing to a close.
Okay, that would hamper.
Yeah, get to the point.
That would work against our farmers, and that's what I wouldn't see. So I wouldn't like to see. So that would be an issue where I would say, well, that's a piece of EU law that we should keep.
Scumbag.
Okay, Charles Law, the referendum results
Never do,
of
do
the
they?
EU. Should the Lib Dems honour that?
Spot on, Ruth was.
Unfortunately, the nature of a referendum left us very divided. One of the key things behind the Leave campaign was demonising migrants, and it worked. Both Tories and Labour have now capitulated to xenophobia and vowed to end freedom of movement. Only the Lib Dems are standing up for the positives of the European Union. I also believe we should keep the good bits, and the good bits are single market access. The good bits are freedom of movement. The other parties cannot ensure our eventual agreement will benefit all the people because they won't let the people have a say on the final terms. They want you to have a Brexit at any cost. On June 23rd, we voted for departure, not destination. Remain was a concrete concept. It was the status quo plus the renegotiations as renegotiated by David Cameron. Leave was an abstract concept. Some people wanted a stop to all immigration. Some people wanted controlled EU migration. Some people like Douglas Carswell wanted more immigration from non-EU countries. Boris promised us single market access, to have our cake and eat it, but now we're heading towards a hard Brexit. The infamous battle bus promised us 350 million a week will not go to the EU with NHS. Does that give a mandate to send any money to the NHS? Does that give a mandate to put any money in the EU budget? Leave is an abstract concept, and once we know what leave is, it's only right that the people have a say to make sure that is what they voted for.
So surely we should be focusing on that instead of arguing that as to whether the vote was right or wrong or not. Instead of focusing on past, we should be focusing on what's happening in the future.
The thing is that 1 in 7 jobs in the high peak,
well said.
1 in 7 jobs in the high peak are directly dependent on single market access. What if the Brexit deal ends with us not having this single market access and 1 in 7 people here being out of work? That's not a good deal. That's a bad deal. And I don't think many people in here would vote for 1 in 7 of their neighbours being out of work.
You think we're best placed to judge that, though? That's what you're saying.
You absolutely are, which is why we are offering a referendum.
Why do you think we vote politicians in?
I think I'm going to have to...
Can I finish my question, please?
Well, you are kind of on your time, really.
We do not believe Brexit at all costs, and if our deal looks like it will make us all poorer, we should be able to reject it and not let it be a stitch-up by politicians. So we would ensure the eventual deal would leave the EU benefits all the people by letting all the people have a final say on the deal.